Hey y'all, it's your girl Toy Powell, and I am here doing my maiden voyage into podcasting. Okay, the name of this podcast is the Neon Nexus. Okay, Artist Confessions. And yes, I'm an artist. I'm also an author, and I have over 15 plus years in project management and also digital advertising. And so part of being an artist, part of being an author, and just someone who loves entertainment, I just wanted to, launch this podcast here on YouTube so that I can talk more at length with y'all. I usually do my artist confessions on my social media platforms. You can find me at Toy Powell on Instagram, also on I'm not even really on TikTok anymore, but my stuff is still over there. And also on X, you can find me at The Toy House, TheToihouse. And so I am today doing my second video. This is episode 2 of my Neon Nexus podcast. And the reason why I call it Neon Nexus is because this is my creative zone. Anytime you see the pink background, which you pretty much always will, unless I'm just out there, I don't know, in the streets or, working on my bag, because I'm also in mixed martial arts. I'm a green belt right now. And so I'm very proud of that. And I just wanted to take the time to explain that as we're getting into podcasts and also in today's video. So in episode 1, I just really took one of my long-winded, it was about 7 minutes, videos from Instagram. And honestly, on Instagram, you already know, like, people do not have a long attention span for that. But what I like to do is I like to talk through imagery. I like to use memes. I like to use GIFs. I like to use images, sometimes even sound effects. And I really get a good kick out of it. And also it just helps me bring the story along, helps to keep you guys engaged. So I hope to be doing more of that. So if you would like to, please subscribe, please like, please share. And also, if you are a returning subscriber, I missed you. I really, really did. Thank you so much for watching this video again and coming to my page, because I have been gone for quite a bit, probably since last June of 2024. A lot of things has been going on. I'm a brand ambassador with Donna's Recipe with Tabitha Brown and Gina Woods. Also, I've been working on my upcoming book that is a picture book. It is a book for all ages, and it is called The Tale of Impossible Possibilities. I'm also a designer, so I've been doing a lot of the illustrations. I'm working on a complete campaign for it. I'm also working on the promo for it. Also, music. I do music as well. I know you're like, what don't you do? Listen, that's my business, okay? So I do have music on streaming platforms. My latest album, which I released 2 years ago with my husband, is called Love Forever and Always. You can find that on all streaming platforms. It is mostly rap. There's one singing song, and most of my musical career I've done singing songs. So that was a great experience to do some rap. But yeah, I'm very much involved in the culture. I'm a black woman. I'm a proud black woman. I'm part of the 92%. Okay, so let's get that out the way. And yesterday I posted episode 1, which was my take on people's reactions to Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance, which I thought was incredible. I'm very much into history. I'm very much into reading. Reading is fundamental. And in that episode 1, I talk about how I realized that through a lot of conversation and reading a lot of people's comments, whether it's on X, whether it's on Instagram, wherever it's at, YouTube, a lot of people don't read, okay? And you can tell that they don't know their history. And some people just like to be, distracted, by fireworks and by, a lot of dancing, and the messages either go over their heads or they just would like to remain willfully ignorant. So today, what I'm doing is I'm going to share with y'all. I'm going to switch to a different camera so the quality may change, okay? I am going to be watching a video. It's called Hey y'all, okay, I know I said I was going to be doing a video for episode 2 on, watching people's reaction to the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime performance, but I just want to take a moment to let y'all know that I scrapped that. I scrapped that whole video. I went as far as editing the whole video, color correcting it, adding music. Like, I was just about done with that video, but I want to talk to y'all about something. And this is what this topic of the video is going to be, okay? I scratched that. I want to talk about listening to that little voice. Listening to that little voice inside that speaks to you from your soul, speaks to you from your spirit, that says, don't do that. Don't do that. Before we get into that, I want to let y'all know that I'm going to be doing a few things while I'm talking. I am taking a break from editing my upcoming picture book, A Tale of Impossible Possibilities. I've been doing this probably for the past couple hours, and I just need a break for this right now. I'm actually going to minimize Photoshop so that I can focus, okay? Because I'll just keep looking up there like, okay, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. I need to focus. So I'm going to be brushing my hair, okay? So I have this brush. I love to use it. It is very soothing on the scalp. And I've meditated tonight. I've meditated earlier today. I'm also going to be eating my seaweed snacks. And I love eating the Gimme roasted seaweed snacks. I usually get them in the flavor of teriyaki. I get them in sea salt. I love the chili lime one as well. And my favorite one is the wasabi. Oh my gosh, it's the wasabi, but I don't have any more of those. This is one of my last like flavorful ones. And it is really, really good. This video is not sponsored by them. I just want to share with y'all that I will be kind of like eating this as I'm talking to y'all. I'm also going to be doing some skincare. I've got this collagen jelly cream, okay, and it is called Medicube, and it has collagen in it, and so basically it's supposed to help with like blemishes and hyperpigmentation and stuff like that. Recently, maybe like a few months ago, I had like a really bad breakout, and I tried to handle it, and I scarred my skin, and I don't usually have blemishes like that, so I'm trying to handle it, and I get to put on the product with this nice little spatula, and I'll just show y'all really quickly what it looks like inside so that I can talk to y'all, keep it moving, and you know what I'm doing, okay? So this is what it looks like, and a little really does go a long way. You can put it on every single day, but I did notice that like if I put on too much of it, I can start to not break out, but I can definitely see like I have large pores, so I try to control that too. So I'll be working on that as well. And yeah, just chatting with y'all. So please subscribe, please like, please share, and let's get to it. Okay, this is what the seaweed snack looks like. Okay, it has so much flavor on here. I absolutely love it. It's so crunchy. But when you're done with it, slide it back in the package, put it inside of a Ziploc bag, because once the oxygen gets to it, it starts to lose the crunch and it becomes a little bit, I don't want to say rubbery, but you know, it loses the crisp, and that's what it's all about. I also have some more over here. I just want to set myself up and let y'all know that I'm also wearing this weighted heated blanket that my friends got for me for Christmas. And I told them, I'm like, yo, I use this all the time, especially because I take mixed martial arts. I work on my computer all the time, whether I'm working for my daytime job or working on my book, writing my book, designing, editing, all the things. So this is very helpful. If it gets too hot, you know, I can turn it off. But it's really cool because it has like this remote. You can adjust the heat temperature and also how long. So right now I have it on 120 minutes. Okay, so let's get into the topic of episode 2. Let's talk about listening to that little inner voice inside of you and your spirit. That sometimes I feel like I used to think about things and kind of react to my thoughts, and sometimes I would have negative thoughts. Also, by the way, I need to tell y'all what I was telling y'all in that last video, but I have been in therapy for, I don't know, maybe like 5 years now. I've taken behavioral therapy, I've taken intensive therapy, I take talk therapy, I've been in group therapy, Therapy is so important, and it just really helps to talk to someone, to just get it out, not to burden your family and friends with like your recurrent thoughts. And especially if you're stuck in a toxic cycle, I found it very helpful to manage my mental health this way. And when I say manage my mental health, like, I have been almost radical about managing my mental health in the past few years, because I have had two mental health emergencies in the past, and it was very scary. And it took me a long time to regain my confidence. It took me a long time to heal. It took me a long time to even understand what happened to me. It took me a long time. And those situations, especially when you work in corporate, you're working with people who don't understand what's going on, why you need to feel like, just give me a second, don't give me like a million projects. Like, I am a project management leader. I've been working in digital advertising, specifically pharmaceutical advertising, for over 15 years. It is a very, very high-paced, demanding field to work in. And as a project manager, there are a lot of projects, a lot of moving parts. It's very easy to get burnt out, okay? And then it's also very easy to get burnt out with work. But then when you're trying to follow a dream, you're trying to pursue your own personal goals, it can become a lot. And so what I've learned over time is that I need to listen to my inner thoughts, and not listen to it in an unhealthy way where I'm just like completely guided and living in my head all the time, but just being centered, just, going through life. But sometimes when I feel like I need to make a decision and I'm not really sure, I'll meditate on it, and just like that first thought that comes to mind is just like, don't do that, or call them, or, because sometimes I'll think about friends, I'll think about family, I'll think about people that I haven't spoken to in a long time. And what I used to do is, I should eat my seaweed. What I used to do is think, okay, I gotta call that person. And then life gets in the way, and then a day becomes a week, becomes a month, becomes a year, becomes 2 years, and you're like, dang, what happened? Why didn't I ever reach out to that person? And we can become so self-absorbed in things that we're going through, because the things that we're going through are important, especially in our life. Other people might not understand it. People don't live in our head. And sometimes we don't even realize how much we're living in our head. We just assume everyone around us understands what's happening to us. And they're like, what's happening? I've learned to speak up, not to hold things in. And every now and then, especially as I've been meditating, as I've been doing this affirmation challenge that I'm going to tell y'all about in a second, I've been getting really in tune with listening to the positive thoughts. I can tell what's a negative thought, and I can tell what's a positive thought. And sometimes the negative thoughts feel stronger than the positive ones, especially with what's going on right now in our world, in our country. I live in the United States. There's a lot happening, especially for Black people, minorities, LGBTQIA+, like everybody is going through it right now. So it's very easy for me to feel like I'm upset about some things, and I need to reset, because my initial thoughts might not always be the healthiest thoughts. And even though I want to fight for the people, because that's in my spirit, sometimes I have to take a step back and think about, how am I going to do that? Like, how am I going to show up in this space? And if I film myself and create content, because I'm also a brand ambassador for Donna's Recipe with Tabitha Brown and also Gina Woods. I'm working on a lot of things as far as, my creative journey and wellness, and just trying to live on a higher vibration, just trying to, live on a higher frequency, just trying to be, lead with love. And, coming from a spiritual background, my grandfather is a bishop, my grandmother is a pastor. I was raised in a Pentecostal church. I don't necessarily go to church every Sunday, but it doesn't mean that I'm completely separated from that knowledge of where I came from, what my foundation is, who God is, but also from a spiritual aspect of the universe and being connected spiritually to not only myself and other people, but also to the creator. And so I spend time thinking about those things. I spend time researching those things. I spend time reading books on those things. A lot of my creative endeavors and goals and entrepreneurial dreams are wrapped around wellness. It's wrapped around spirituality. It's wrapped around just elevating. It's wrapped around being creative. It's wrapped around tapping into our inner spirits, into our inner selves, and also everything else that's out there. And sometimes we feel like the earth is so small because social media makes us feel like we're so contained in this one little thing. But there's so much out there, especially like if you're someone that doesn't travel much, you may feel like your reality is from this block to that block. Even though you might be on social media, even though you might see movies and stuff, you don't really experience it unless you're there. Like, go to another country, go on vacation, read more about space, read more about the cosmos, read more about spiritual energy, read more about, religious texts. Just read. And I love that. The reason why I scratched that video is because I didn't feel like it was a good representation of me and where I want to go. And I don't want that living on the internet. But also, it's not like I was like, I was in my feelings about certain things, but that's not what I want to put out there. I don't want to attract that energy. Not at all. And so when I tell y'all I was up all day yesterday, okay, today's Sunday, all of Saturday, I was editing that video. And sometimes when you're in it, you're just like, okay, I'm editing. You're just going through the technicalities of it. I edit in DaVinci Resolve 19 in the studio version, the paid version, because I had the free version for a while, but then I realized, the type of editing that I want to do now, I needed to upgrade to the studio version. I also spent a lot of time getting familiar with the platform. I haven't touched DaVinci in a minute because I've been writing, I've been designing, illustrating, working on A Tale of Impossible Possibilities. I've been working on this book for like over a year. I started it over. It's interesting. I started the book over because I designed an AI, and when I got the proof, I have 2 physical copies of that book. And my husband's friend looked at it, his best friend looked at it, and he was like, oh wow, this is really cool, this is awesome. And then he asked, is this the same girl? And I was like, oh. Yes, it's the same girl. And I knew it because I felt it too. And I was like, dang, I was thinking the same thing. And at that time, I'd already started taking AI design courses and storytelling courses. And my skill level was way more advanced than what those physical copies look like. Okay. And I was like, I can't put this out like this. This doesn't represent who I am right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't represent my skill set at that time. And I knew by the time I put it out, because I'm doing a whole campaign on this, okay? There's going to be film, there's going to be music, there's going to be promo, there's a whole website for it, like there's merch for it, and all of those things take time to create. And I was like, there's no way that I can create all of those things using those assets, okay? Because they weren't the quality that I would have wanted them to be. And I had to make a decision, y'all, and it wasn't easy. Like, it was very difficult. I called a friend of mine. I was like just talking through it, and I was just like, yo, like, I am so tired. I've been working on this book for a while now, and whenever I think about going back to the beginning and starting over, I think about the money that I spent on it, to get the proof and to upload it and to do those things. And so I had to make an executive decision, and I was like, Toy, is this who you are right now? Do you want to put this out right now? You can, but does it compete in a way with other books and other things that you like and enjoy out of other artists? And I answered the question. I was like, no, it's not at the level of not only other artists, but at my level right now as an artist. So I scrapped it. And I started over, and I'm really, really glad that I did. And I'm really, really glad that I took my time with it, because during that time, I learned so much, okay? I learned so much about writing. I learned so much more about design. I have a design background. I have a degree in visual communications, which is basically graphic design. In elementary school, high school, I was an art student, advanced placement art, took all the art classes that you could possibly take, to the point where when I was a senior, I was in like independent study. When I went to college, I was a fashion design and graphic design major. And throughout my career, I've been working in, the marketing space, advertising and promotion, and also, just straight up digital advertising. And I've been working in that space for over 15 years. So I work with creatives, I work with designers, I work with editors, I work with copywriters, and I'm like, I manage these people. I manage these projects. So, and also working with the client, and also I've worked client side. So I know the demand and the expectation for quality work. And I had to look at my work the same way that I look at the work that I do to get paid my salary to support myself. I had to look at my work the same way that I look at the work that I do on a day-to-day basis for my full-time job. And I was like, I am not only the creator, but I'm also the client. And so I said, this will not do. Okay, so you gotta wear multiple hats. Okay, you're the client and you're like, this will not do. And as the designer and storyteller, you're just like, okay, I gotta go back to the drawing board. And that's what I did. So right now I'm working on retouching all the pages that I created in Midjourney. And I'm doing that in Photoshop because I'm adding additional elements, but also making sure that the character is consistent, that the skin tone is consistent, that I'm just removing some of these elements that are just like, yeah, I can tell that was AI, and this looks a little funky over here. In my studies, in my research that I've been doing all this time, I'm able to now add more elements. So that's why in this situation with episode 2, what I was gonna do, I had to have that same moment again. Like, I really did. I was like, all right, Toy, you've been meditating, you've been doing your affirmations. Is this what you want to put out? Is this how you want to represent yourself? And I'm gonna tell you what that initial thought was. I'm going about my business. And like I said, I was editing all day and all night. Like, your girl was tired, okay? I was tired. Let me fix this light. I was tired. I took a break. Actually, it was time for bed. Yeah, I can see it. I can put that on there. I bounced down the video just as a test to watch it. It was like an hour long, and I was like, this is a long video, but I'm saying what I gotta say. And I was feeling away, and there was a little voice as I was getting in the bed, and it was like, don't put that out. I remember actively trying to ignore it. Now, I've been doing good recently. I've been doing real good recently with listening to those thoughts. When it says, call that person, or when I'm brainstorming, when I'm walking in the park or walking in the woods, because I love connecting with nature. I am very much one of those people that will go out into nature, into a park, on the trail, in the woods, and just listen to either a self-help podcast, affirmations, Hertz music, soundtracks, movie scores, and just think, just ponder, I don't even like listening sometimes to songs that have words in them, because I just want my thoughts to come through. And so I've been really, really good at hearing those thoughts and like, oh yeah, I should do that. And then it works. Or, yeah, reach out to that person. Or I'll just see like synchronicity happening, and I'm just like, wow, that was really, really, really cool, you know? I've kind of gotten into this habit of listening to that voice, and what I associate that with is giving myself permission in a way. You know, like when you go to someone that you trust the most, they give you guidance, and you're like, I trust you as a source. You're a respected source. I trust your guidance. I trust your direction. Yeah, I'll try that. Well, last night, that voice came in, and it was like, don't put that out. And I'm like, I just pretended like I didn't hear it. I pretended like I just didn't even acknowledge it. Like I heard it and I was like, And what's crazy is that it's not a negative thought. And through therapy, I've learned that when you have a negative thought, you acknowledge it, that it's there, and then you move past it and you push it away, right? That's what I've been learning to do with my negative thoughts, because they have been coming a lot more frequently now, especially because of what's going on politically, and also, you know, just like spiritually what's happening. Like everybody is affected by what's happening. I've been trying really, really hard to curb those negative thoughts, not act on those negative thoughts, push them out. Now, I had to ask myself, even this morning when I woke up, I'm thinking, okay, it's time to get back to work. I have to finish editing this video because I wanted to put it out this week. I also need to work on my book. So that's another thing. Like, since I launched the podcast Neon Nexus, this is my creative space, okay? You always see me with the pink background. I knew that I needed to record this so that I can get out episode 2 and then jump into working on the book. And then, you know, I've got a lot of balls in the air. And so I heard that voice again. It was like, don't do it. Like, that was a thought. Don't do it. And I was like, is that a negative thought? Like, I really had to ask myself, is that a negative thought? Like, what would be negative about not putting it out? So I set up my computer. I set up everything. I have, you know, DaVinci is up. I've got it ready to start editing. My husband, you know, he's in his office, and he's like, do you need anything? You know, because my husband's so cool. He wants to make sure that I'm good before he gets into his stuff, because he knows I'm like, oh, babe, hey, babe, hey, babe, hey, babe. And I know he's like, yes. And I'm like, what do we have for dinner? Want sushi? Because I love sushi. And you know what sucks too? In that video, I was tearing up some sushi. I'll put it over here. I'll show y'all the sushi that I had and how I was tearing it up. And I just wanted to show y'all that sushi was so delicious. It really, really was. So, okay, let me get back to it. So I'm like, no, I don't need anything. I've got on my comfortable loungewear because I've been investing in comfortable clothes, okay, and loungewear because I spend so much time at home creating, you know what I mean? I'm sitting here and I'm getting ready to go, and then all of a sudden, my phone goes off. Now, wait, let me back up. Before I set up my computer, I meditated, okay? Because now let me tell you about the affirmation challenge that I've been doing. I've been meditating, and I saw this YouTube video. He said, like, a lot of people when they meditate, they feel like their affirmations don't work because they stop too soon. Like, some people get to 20, you know, they say it over and over again, they get to 20 and they stop. So he's like, say it 100 times for 7 days. And then after that, leave it alone, give it to the universe, give it to God. Like, that's it. So I said, okay, I'll try it. And so I have a journal because I journal all the time. I've been picking up journaling even more lately because it's just very, very helpful for me to, one, get myself out of what's happening in the world, out of what's happening with family and people that I know who are still stuck in their own toxic cycles, and just like people who are just distracting. You know, some people just want to talk, and I'm just like, I've learned to put up boundaries. After those 2 mental health emergencies, I've learned to put up my boundaries, okay? So I started writing the affirmation in my journal, and so this is it. and it's called Warm Starlight, and I thought that it was very, very cute. And so I keep this journal by the side of my bed. I've got other journals there, and I'll show y'all that in another episode. I've begun writing down like the thoughts that come to mind while I'm meditating. So if you can see, like, this is like my meditating and some of the things that I'm writing down as I meditate. I write down each day. And these little hash marks are each time that I get to 10. I'll put a hash mark there. And the thoughts that come to mind while I'm saying it those 10 times, I just write down the thought. Okay? The challenge didn't say to do that. But I know, to me, I don't like to lose an idea. I don't like to lose a thought. I can't stand that. Because I just feel like when I get those thoughts, that's the universe. That's God talking to me like, here's an idea. And there's no idea unless it's harmful. That's a bad idea, you know? So I write down those thoughts. And as I'm on day 6 now, because today is day 6, I realized that all the thoughts that I've been having all week all string together to support the affirmation. And they're not just ideas, they're goals. You know, they're goals that's going to help me. And so I'm like, okay, I've got a lot of goals here. I've got a lot of things that I want to do. I think that this is wonderful. I want to build meaningful relationships with people and small businesses, reaching out to the people, to y'all, to give you, you know, insight and pointers on being more creative, how to start creative projects, retreats that I'm working on, because I also do event planning, also sponsorships, because like I said, I'm a brand ambassador with Donna's Recipe, but I also want to expand in that space as well, like taking my entrepreneurship to the next level, right? And so with that said, I really meditated on that. Now, here's the kicker. Then I set up my computer, right? And as soon as I'm ready to start editing that video has so much like negative energy in it, okay? And I'm not just saying from myself, but I'm reacting to someone that had negative energy. And it was very triggering. And I was saying things that I was just like, this is not who I want to be. Like, this is the old me, you know, this is the person I'm trying to suppress. I'm trying to heal from this. And as I'm sitting there about to edit, I hear, don't put that out. Then my phone goes off and it's an alert, okay? It's my alarm. And it basically said that my best friend's daughter's birthday party is today. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the days just go by so fast. That's why I gotta put everything in my phone. You know, as a project manager, I have my own personal calendar. I've got a family calendar. I've got to remind myself of things, because especially when I get overwhelmed, especially when, you know, I'm stressed out, especially when I have a lot of anxiety, especially when I'm trying to manage my mental health, I just forget certain things. So I have to set myself up. I'm like my own personal assistant, okay? And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I just told babe, I don't need you for the rest of the day. So I run into his office and I'm like, babe, it's such and such's birthday today. We gotta go. He was like, what time does it start? I said, in 10 minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, it's in 10 minutes. So now I am totally taken away from this video. I've got to get dressed. I've got to do my hair. I didn't even put on no makeup. Like literally, this is what I look like. Put it in a ponytail, getting dressed. I'm rushing him. Gotta go get, you know, a card and like little snacks and gifts for her. And then we go to this bowling alley where she's having this, you know, cute little birthday party. It is the most adorable thing, y'all. The most adorable thing. And I was just surrounded by like young, innocent joy. You know what I mean? Just innocent joy. And my best friend and her husband, you know, when I say best friend, I've been best friends with her, my girl Danny, and she was also the matron of honor in my wedding 2 years ago. But I've been and she's also a licensed therapist. Like, my girl's dope. And I've been best friends with her since high school. So we're looking at close to 30 years of friendship. And, I'm meeting people there and, just having really great conversation. And some people we have things in common. Like, there was a woman that is into boxing. Her kid takes mixed martial arts. We were talking about that. And we just had a really, really good time. And before I knew it, it was like 5 o'clock. So I'm like, all right, we got to go because I got to get home and start working on my stuff. And when I came home, that voice was like, don't put that out. And I went back to looking at my affirmations and I said, you know what? That's not a good representation of me. Just like that book, A Tale of Impossible Possibilities, my heart right now, that is not a good representation of where I want to be. So I had to ask myself, is this voice inside telling me to do something harmful? No. Is it negative? No. What's the worst that can happen? I put this out and people think that is not who I want to be affiliated with. That is not good energy. Like, that's not that. And even though at the end of the video I do have a woosah moment, I do like my incense, which I'm about to show y'all, because now I got to show y'all the things again because I scrapped the video. I started using folk essence, and I love this incense, the Magic Hour, and it comes in these scents: coconut and mango, oriental aqua, green tea, ocean salt, rose and geranium, and orange blossom. And I love the packages. I love packaging, one, because I'm an advertising queen, okay? But it is so cute because they all have different designs on them. So this one is like Pixie Island. This one is Mystical Sea. This one smells so good. Oh my gosh. They all smell really good, but some of them are just like my fave. Because scent therapy, let me get into this. Scent therapy is one of my favorite mental health tools. Okay, I have a mental health toolkit. I go for walks. I love gardening. I love cooking, eating good food. I love like sweet things as well. I love to meditate. Those are the things that I do in my mental health toolkit. Sometimes if it's really intense, I have to sit there, squeeze for 10 seconds, and then just kind of like let it go. I do breathing exercises, all the things. But scent therapy is my fave because it just hits the nostril right away. And I'm going to get into some of the things that I've been learning about scent therapy, how the glands in your nostrils and your pineal gland, like how all of that is connected. That's going to be so much fun. This is called Enchanted Forest. And just like, look at the art. You know what I mean? Like, the art is so, so cool. Boho Escape. This is Free Spirit. Oh my gosh. Free Spirit smells so wonderful. And then Tree of Life. I haven't gotten to that one yet, but these are all just like really, really awesome scents. And so today and also yesterday, I've been burning Free Spirit. What I like to do, and I'm gonna show y'all in a second. I have this incense holder, okay, which is really cool. And I'm gonna show y'all like how the smoke just comes up out of this thing when you light it. So, it smells so good. I'm gonna light that bad girl. And usually I play my meditation music. I'm like, yes, just this zone, this creative zone is just so zen. It is very important to me that I live in a zen and work in a zen environment, because your mental health is just so important. You know, it really, really is. And especially when you're working on projects, especially projects that deal with spirituality, that deals with wellness, that deals with self-help, I weave all of these elements into my stories and into my designs, so that when someone is reading my books and looking at my designs and my films, I want them to see those characters, and they see the characters going through a struggle, you know, and I want them to see the characters actually come out of that struggle and they say, hey, I think I can do that. I think that's attainable. I think I can take those steps as well. And the things that I'm putting in there, they're not always just made up, and these are fictional fantasy stories, but the techniques are real. And that is one of the reasons why I joined mixed martial arts, is because I, create characters that fight, and there's combat, there's war and stuff like that, but there's also peace. There's also all these things. So can y'all see how like the smoke just like comes up and out? because sometimes when you have like an incense stick and it's just laying here without a container, it just goes everywhere. So this is what it looks like. And then when the ashes just drop to the very bottom, I know it's probably like a little dusty, but the ashes drop to the bottom and it contains it, and it's so much easier to discard of it. So let me move her over here. The stories that I write have all of those elements in it, and that's how I want to help the reader, and also, you know, build these stories that resonates with pretty much everyone. You know, there's a lot of things that we go through as humans, as adults, as children, and sometimes we just need a little bit of guidance. And I want to create characters that can help with that guidance. So I took mixed martial arts to write from a true, authentic perspective, and also to connect with the philosophy of martial arts and bring those elements into my stories. I'm a green belt now. I'm very, very proud of myself. I started in April of 2024. And so I've been going consistently. I've lost 30 pounds, probably a little bit more than that by now. I've injured myself many, many times. I've worked on my stamina because my stamina was trash. Oh my gosh, I could not breathe. And even now I still struggle because I just need to learn how to breathe. When I'm working through this stuff, I get pretty tense. And so, you know, I'm still on that journey, but I'm no longer a beginner. I've now reached the intermediate stage. So I'm pretty psyched about that. So I'm working on studying topics as far as mind, body, and spirit, because I have those elements in my book. And I just think it's really important to not just write from a place of, for myself. I mean, everybody can do whatever they want to do. But for me, I think it's very important for me not to write from a place of just imagination, but also, you know, things that can support it by facts or things that are already out there, so that it's easier that if people are like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, they've never heard that word, phrase, or term before, they can go and look it up, and it's really out there. So I say all that to say that I had to listen to that voice today, and I'm really, really glad that I did, because I feel like I'm in a better space, a better headspace, okay? And spiritually, I'm in a better space. And even right before I filmed this video, a friend reached out to me. We were talking about some things, you know, because there's a lot happening in this country, and I want to be there to support. But after that conversation, I was just like, I gotta meditate again. I gotta meditate again, because I was right about to film this and trying to get into a good space, but that took me out of it. And I just needed to make sure that I came to y'all correct. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what this is about. It's about this podcast, the Neon Nexus, is my artist confessions, you know, sharing with y'all what I go through as an artist behind the scenes, the struggle that I go through, you know, just trying to create, and sometimes not feeling like I'm in the best space to create, but still showing up for myself anyway. You know, think about like when you go to work, sometimes you're not in the best mood when you go to work, but you still got to show up and work for these people to get a paycheck so that you can support your family, right? So I'm like, why can't I do that for myself as well? I have a bigger goal. I know what my goal is. I know what I'm trying to do. And I haven't recorded and put anything out on YouTube since last June, because as I'm going through this shift and trying to figure out what it is that I want to do, I didn't want to just like put stuff out there for the sake of putting stuff out there. You know, it takes a lot of time to edit videos. It takes a lot of time to just, you know, figure out what it is that I'm doing. Now I'm at the point where I'm like, I know what it is. I am focused on creative wellness. That is my thing. I came up with that term through meditation, okay? And I'm sharing that with y'all because I'm coining it for my journey, okay? I didn't read this anywhere. I did not talk to my friends about it. I did not research this. I did not do that. Through my meditation, through these 6 days of meditation, as I'm writing out my thoughts and everything, it's just flowing. And I was like always trying to find a one-liner for what it is that I do. And it's creative wellness. So, you know, I've got so many goals and so many ideas that I want to do for this summer. We're going to Japan, and I'm really excited about that because that's going to really help bring me peace and settle my spirit, because I've been struggling, you know, trying to keep my sanity, trying to not go off the deep end with what's going on. And I'm really looking forward to traveling there with my husband and my stepdaughter. And we're going to be going for, a significant amount of time. So I'm really, really excited about that. Especially since I use the martial arts and the philosophy in my stories. I'm going to make sure that, like, one, we're exploring and we're learning more about the culture, but also so that I can feel connected to the work that I do and the stories that I write and the designs that I create and the music that I do as well. I am just really happy that I was able to sit here and chat with y'all about this. And so I have to say that if you have a little voice in you that's like, don't do that. If you're trying to do something like, oh, I have this idea, I have this goal, and I want to pursue it, and you're like, this is a dream of mine I've always had, and your voice is like, don't do that. You have to be able to discern whether it's fear or whether it's something trying to help you, prevent you from doing something, that might be harmful for you and your goal and your journey in the long run. So I just want to say that, learn how the difference between your own negative thoughts and self-sabotage, and also what's there to help you when the spirit is talking to you. And I called my grandmother before I started this video. I have an idea that I'm working on, and I was like, wow, I was in the shower and I'm just thinking through it. And it's amazing when you meditate a lot, when you are really focused on your craft, you're really focused on your stories, you're really like radical about your journey and what you're doing, that the things just start coming really, really quickly. And so I was thinking about something and I was like, wow, that's a full circle moment. Like, I remember as a child having this thought, having this idea, and actually winning in my very first art award at I think I was like 9 or 10 years old. And the image, we don't even have it anymore. But it was beautiful, and it was my first time designing something, and I won a savings bond for it. It was probably like $50 savings bond, and I was really excited about it. And then I remember my grandmother telling me a story about when she first got saved, and it was such an amazing story. And she told me this a couple times over the years, so I called her up and I was like, Mom, we call her Mom, we call my grandfather Daddy. My entire family does. It's just very endearing. I love them so, so much. And they're always there for me when I need spiritual uplifting, when I need uplifting encouragement. And also, I love to just talk to them at least once a week if I can, just to like see how they're doing, what they eat, how is church on Sunday, where they at. Sometimes they're out in the car, they're like, oh, we're out in the street, going to the store, going to get something from the supermarket. I digress. But I said, can you tell me the story about the doves when you first got saved? And she told me the story, and I'll share that with y'all another time because I need to work that into some stuff that I'm working on. And she told me the story, and she goes, what are you writing? Like, you writing something? Like, what are you working on? I was like, yeah, I'm working on something, working on a story, working on an idea. And I tried to record the conversation, but I couldn't record and be on the phone at the same time. Like, the app just wouldn't work. And so I know that I have to go and record her telling me that story again, because it's just a beautiful, beautiful story. Anyway, it's just one of those moments where I'm like, that came full circle and this came full circle. And that's when you know that you're on the right path. Like, I just felt really, really good about it. And so I'm listening to those inner thoughts, because my inner thoughts at this point, I can tell what's negative, what I need to push away. Is the things that like hurt in here. When I feel that pain and I want to react out of it, that's a negative thought. The pain sometimes is I feel like it can be good in a way to like let you know, one, you're still alive, but two, to let you know that there's something that still needs healing. There's something that still needs healing, and it stands out to me that I need to work on that. And there's a lot of things I need to work on. And I know that, I don't want to lash out, and, this is not a perfect journey, but I'm just glad to be on it. So I hope you got something out of this video, out of this podcast. And if you're working on anything, I would love for you to share that with me if you feel comfortable, because I would love to grow community here at the Neon Nexus Podcast. And also, I'll be looking into Patreon. I'll be looking into Substack. I'm looking into other ways to monetize and to, just give you guys more, not only just content, but tools to use on your own journey, how to start your own projects, how to work a timeline, how to brainstorm, how to, do strategy, how to do all of those things, and also storytelling. Like, I'm looking forward to all of that. So thank you so much for watching, and please leave a comment. Please share, please subscribe if you haven't. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for still coming back and watching my videos. And so I will see you guys in the next episode, in episode 3. All right, guys. Bye.